Is something like moving? Because there's a bunch of. Oh, it went away. All right,
What do
never
you mean?
mind.
Okay, yeah, ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to the second episode of the What's in the Bag podcast. Today we have a great episode for you. We're going to start off with talking about the recap of the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, the PGA Tour tournament last week. We're going to talk about Tiger Woods, his first start on the PGA Tour, his first official start since 2015. We're going to talk about the waste management later on. We're going to preview that for you. And then we got a great interview coming for you. We have Un, who golfed for the Harvard golf team, and he's going to talk about his experience growing up and then his college golf experience. So without further ado, Austin, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Farmers Insurance Open.
Yeah. I thought it was a really interesting weekend. Great golf tournament. Obviously, got some bonus golf on Monday, which was super fun to watch.
Yes.
For those of us who are no longer in school working our 9 to 5, it was a nice respite from Monday morning, something to look forward to.
Right.
And yeah, why don't we start out with Tiger? I think that.
Okay. I guess you always have to start out with Tiger, right? When he's involved in the PGA Tour event. So let's talk about it.
Did you see the crowds? I mean, just the crowds are insane for this guy.
Insane. It's amazing. It's so good for golf. It's so good for golf.
It's crazy. And he is not even remotely on the scene of being a winner or anything like that, right? For years. And the minute he comes back, it's crazy. And there's so many amazing golfers that have come up and you could argue have taken his place at the forefront of the game. But he comes back and it was crazy. I mean,
it was insane.
Haven't seen crowds like that, I don't think, at any event since the last time he played, right? You just don't get crowds like that.
It's really crazy, and it just goes to show that Tiger, it's like we always talk about, it's the same thing. Tiger brings an element to the game of golf that is not there without him. Just the people, the interest, the numbers, the ratings, everything goes up when Tiger is there. And it's pretty crazy to watch. So let's talk about how he played. Honestly, unbelievable that he finished top 25 with his stats. He hit the lowest number of fairways in his entire career. I was when I was in class and I couldn't watch, I was on Golf Channel Tiger Tracker. I remember Tiger, great follow, by the way. If you don't follow, just tweets everything about Tiger when he's playing. Tweeted 3 of 18 fairways. 3 or 14 probably. 3 of 14 fairways, Austin. That is ludicrous.
Garbage. I mean, it's you saw. It was sort of like the angel and the devil. The short game, the putting was brilliant. He putted lights out. He putted
chipping, man, which was my issue with him after watching The Hero. He had a little bit of the yips, right? Chipping was unbelievable. Just clipped some to a couple of feet from really tough.
Really phenomenal short game. To make the cut, he got him down a couple times from places where he was dead. He should.
He made a 50-footer. I mean, he made a 50-footer from the fringe, right, where he needed to. He needed to make that.
Right, definitely. But then you get to the driving accuracy and the ball striking, and it just was not there. But
it wasn't great. But that's okay. I think that comes with reps. I think he needs to go back to the M2, which he was hitting great at the Hero. I don't know why he didn't hit the M2. And I think he needs to not try to hit every ball like he's trying to lead the tour in driving distance. He hits it far. He doesn't need to hit it farther than far. He hits that M2 swing like he was hitting with a little cut at the Hero. Maybe he won't hit 14 of 14 fairways, but he'll hit 10 of 14 fairways, and it'll go 300 yards. Maybe it won't go 350, but that's still pretty good. Tiger hits it a long way. Sometimes he just took these swings that were like 1999 Tiger, which is great, but you don't need to do that every time.
Yeah, I think what I noticed, and I think that I forget who it was. I forget if it was Costas or Faldo who was talking about it. But I noticed this with his swing is that his body is just way, way, way in front of his hands.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he is trying to, and he's an unbelievable athlete. And so he's saving it in these crazy ways. He goes straight. But
I've been seeing that. And that causes his left miss a lot of the time too, which he was trying to take away from his game. And he will if he just doesn't try to hit the ball 3,000 yards every swing.
Right. Getting the club face square for him is really hard right now. And he's sort of standing up out of it. I mean, his follow through looks goofy as hell to me, especially with his driver, coming way, way, way up over his left shoulder. And
I've been seeing that. It looks like he's like I said, it looks like he's trying to hit it as hard as he possibly can every shot.
Right. Right. He's coming up and out of it, which is, it's sort of interesting because Tiger has always been, he's always dropped his level a ton.
Right.
But it's interesting to see this new problem and what it's going to bring up for him. I think that what concerns me more than the driving accuracy was his just how imprecise he was with his wedges.
100 yards and in wasn't great. He would go way over. He hit a couple into bunkers and stuff, which
he straight up chunked a couple, which is not a great look. But I think
that's practice personally, and pressure situations. And Torrey Pines is a hard golf course. Let's not forget that. I think sometimes instead of making the smart shot, maybe hitting it to 25, 20 feet for birdie and letting his putter do the work, he was trying to hit it to 3 feet. And by doing that, he was making his misses exaggerated. And again, he was trying to hit a perfect shot at a difficult golf course. And sometimes the result just wasn't there.
Right, I agree. And I think it's probably important not to dig into the weeds too much.
I agree. I think so too.
Great to see him make a cut. And he got through the weekend.
And let's not forget, he no rounds over par. Under par even every round, and a top 25 finish at one of the hardest golf courses on tour that's not in a major. And that has hosted U.S. Opens where the winning score by Tiger Woods was even or 1 under. This is a very hard golf course. I think it's an impressive showing, even though his accuracy was left a lot to be desired.
Definitely. I mean, it leaves us with a lot of hope, right? Because if he can score that well, right? Yeah. And with the way that he hit it, that means that imagine what he could do if he could straighten out the drive a little bit, get the irons back to where they were his prime, and that kind of deal.
Agreed. And I really just think, like we said, no injuries. Best case scenario, made a cut, finished 3 under. I'd say
definitely.
B+ day, B+ round for Tiger, B+ weekend, maybe even A-. What else could you expect? He wasn't going to win his first event. But I'd say lots of encouragement. I'd say I would not be surprised if he won an event at an easier golf course on tour.
Yeah, just really happy to not see any grimaces or anything like that.
All right, so let's move on to an interesting story. Jon Rahm, probably the hottest golfer in the world, comes up lights out Thursday, Friday, 68, 66, really just looked in absolute total command. Looked incredible. And then we get to the third round. And the third round, things start to go south for Jon Rahm. He made 3 bogeys in a row on the front 9, then kind of stabilized a little until he got to 18, where he made a double bogey, horrific double bogey, ended up shooting 3 over on the day. And then, wow, Sunday, meltdown city, the likes of which we haven't seen since like Dustin Johnson, choke city. He made 6 bogeys in a row at one point, I believe. 4 bogeys in a row at one point, and then he made 3 out of 4 holes bogeys on the back 9 too. So talk to me about this, Austin. This is a really uncharacteristic meltdown of Jon Rahm. He is capable of these temperature outbursts, but something like this, temper tantrums, but something like this was not expected.
Totally unexpected. I think what might have gotten to him was the lack of experience with the winds on Sunday, because it is a completely different golf course. And I think that he was a little rattled on Saturday finishing up. He had strung together a bunch of good holes on the back, and then he hit in the water on 18.
Yep.
That shot wasn't even close. I mean, it was halfway into the pond, right? Like literally hit dead in the middle. And I don't think we should read too much into it. It is really, I think, for me though, it was surprising because he was really rolling. He had a lot of momentum.
Yep.
He was starting to get that swagger of a winner, and I think it might just go to show how hard it is to be consistent on tour. And the game is hard, right? And
something I'd put in that could potentially be a factor is, what do you think about the fact that he would have been number 1 in the world if he had won this week? And
definitely. He had to be thinking.
He was in position to do that after the second round, right? He was either leading or tied for the lead or top 5 or something. And that you have to think that crosses into your mind like, wow, I could be the best in the world at something. I feel like that's at anything to be recognized as the best. There's no one better than you in the whole world. It was probably in his head, I think.
Oh, definitely. Especially with Tiger there, having him back for his first tournament. Like, how could that thought not cross your mind? You have one of the greatest golfers of all time there, and you're trying to get to that level for the first time. Like, that definitely is in the back of your head. Must be, right?
Yeah, it had to be. And I think that was probably the major reason for the struggles.
Yeah. It is interesting, though. We'll see if this is just a fluke or it plays into something later in his career, to see, maybe the short sort of tempo-based swing breaks down a little bit when like extreme pressure. Like we've obviously seen him perform in pressure situations, but maybe like with this level, maybe he struggles with the wind. Who knows, right? But we just haven't seen anything like this from Rom, and it was really surprising to me.
Yeah,
I mean, he was playing so well on Thursday and Friday too. Like he was lights out.
It was unbelievable, really, to watch. Okay, so let's move on. I think we've talked about two of the sub stories. I guess we should go to the main story. Probably the winner, Jason Day, his first win in 2 years or a year, I believe. Right?
Yeah, a couple years.
Couple years. And unbelievable playoff. Really, really good to watch. Quick side note: talk to me about this JB Holmes thing real quick before we get into this. World.
Oh my goodness!
What are those antics, dude?
What a
4 minutes.
Horrible look for golf. Horrible look. You had it was right on the hour when people were starting to. I think I read this somewhere where people were starting to tune in for the Grammys, right?
Right.
So people are like probably millions of people are tuning in, expecting to see the Grammys. They see this guy just perpetuating what people hate about golf, and it was terrible. And what in the world was he thinking? Why did he lay up? What he had 240, 250.
Yep.
He's one of the longest hitters on tour. He has to make eagle. Like there's someone in the clubhouse.
What are you going to try to pull out from like 100 yards? Like it made no sense. It made no sense.
No sense. And I sort of like I sympathize with his logic at the end of the day because he was like, if you just have no room for error with going for it there, like you're gonna end up with a really, really hard downhill putt, like the one that Rom holed.
Yep.
If you hit an amazing shot, and sure, I get that, but at the same time, what are the odds of pulling out a wedge from 80 yards?
I'd say they're definitely lower than hitting a 50-foot putt.
Right, exactly. And also, he laid up into the rough. What a moron.
What a fucking moron. Anyways, let's get to the story. I don't want to talk too much. Just idiot.
I wonder. Well, actually, one thing I was wondering, like, I wonder if he was trying to get into the heads of his playing partners.
That's what I had heard. I was reading something that maybe he was trying to think that they try to make Noren make bogey.
Right, which is terrible.
Scumbag move. Yes, scumbag move. Don't be worried about the other players. Worry about your own thing. You need to make eagle. Try to make eagle.
Really hope that isn't true.
Yeah.
But whatever the case, bad luck for golf. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't understand how he couldn't go for it. Like, he hits it a mile. He probably didn't even have to hit 3-wood to get there.
Probably hybrid or iron or whatever his lowest non-3-wood club, 240. Like, easily that should be an iron or like a hybrid for them. Like, he could probably hit easily 3-wood close to 280, 290. Anyways.
Noren was in a similar spot, hit the 3-wood, piped it over the green, right? Like clearly had the distance to get there.
If Noren's not even that long of a hitter. Anyways, just moving on from the nonsense, it was a great playoff. That's exactly what's good for golf. Day and Noren matching each other shot for shot. They played the par 5 18 4 times. 3 of those 4 times they both made birdie. Dave made birdie all the times. Ryan Palmer was eliminated on the first hole, so not really going to talk about him, but Day, man, he nailed some I think on the first or second time Noren hit it to like an inch. And Day just nailed a clutch 8-footer. Really great to see Jason Day. He is great for golf because his game, his personality, and the way he plays is so good. And if he can keep up like this, he's a fan favorite. I think that, again, we have these top-tier players. You add Tiger Woods in there and you add Jason Day in there, who Jason Day hasn't been there for maybe the last year and a half, right? And you're adding Rory McIlroy, who hasn't won a major in 3 years. It's shaping up to be one of the best seasons for golf in quite a while.
Oh, yeah, and I think he made us eat our words a little bit. I think last week on the podcast we said that we didn't think that Day was going to perform that well.
He was over after the first day, too. So, I mean, he really lit it up after 64 on the second day.
Seems like he found something with his back, and I think that's the big thing for him going forward.
Yeah.
If he can manage to not have pain, right? Because, I mean, he's one of the guys that looks like he's really taking a lash at it when he's
just
right? Like,
hits it a mile.
That driver swing, like, oh my God, I can't imagine the impact on all of his, like, different muscle groups in his back. Like, he's generating so much speed, and it doesn't look as effortless as, like, a DJ or like a Rory, right? He really looks like he's hitting it. It's like kind of similar to Tiger in that sense, where they both swing.
I'd say it's a little more natural looking than Tiger, but still definitely flashes after it. Right.
But it, like you said, great for the game. He's he's awesome. He's a great personality too.
Yeah.
Seems like he's a humble, like very nice guy. He had a rough upbringing,
Yeah,
right?
really, like alcoholic at 13.
Right, and had a tough time, like tough backstory with the last couple of years with his just family issues, right?
Yep.
Like we don't have to jump into that,
No,
but
family issues and
definitely sad stuff. But definitely seems to have rattled him. Obviously, he had problems with his coach and like long time, basically like father, right? Colin Swan. And it's just amazing to see him back. Shows like sort of his resilience, right?
Right,
Which is
yeah.
awesome. And like
And
he's
it's
been
great
showing that
family.
time. Yeah.
And
Time
yeah,
and time again. Yeah.
I think that's all we have for that. It's just I'm really looking forward to the season. Like I said, we have Spieth and Thomas and Ricky, and then now we have Rahm, and now we have Tiger and Jason Day and Rory and DJ. It's just way too many names to count. Should be an excellent, excellent golf season.
Right.
I think now we should transition into our interview with Un Cho. Un was a golfer on the Harvard golf team. He grew up in Canada, really was an excellent, excellent junior golf player. I believe in his interview, we talked about how he qualified. He passed local qualifying for the U.S. Open in high school, it's just incredible. So I think we should move into our interview with Un Cho. So I would welcome on Un to the podcast.
All right, word.
Okay. So now just you want to get your sleeper and your winner pick for the Waste Management real quick. Look through the leaderboard, and this should only be like I think probably 5 minutes. This doesn't need to be long because I think it was more important to talk about the recap and then with Un, and then we can finish it up with just this brief little 5-minute.
Yeah. I have the same pick for winner and sleeper.
Okay. Okay. Let me
like Charlie Hoffman, dude. I don't understand. Yeah. He's plus 6,600 to win. That's insane. He plays so well here. He's playing great. Like I don't.
Probably just because it looks like a pretty strong field. Okay, I have my sleeper, and then I have my. Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
All right, cool. Maybe we should talk about the tournament.
What
should we talk about?
I think we should talk about the tournament.
Okay. They made some changes to 16, right?
Did they? Will you talk about that because I don't know about that.
Wait 1 second. Let me look it up.
Okay.
I think they just changed. Actually, I don't think it was a big change. I think they might have just changed what color the something is. All right, whatever. We can just talk. We'll just talk about the 16th hole and how it's great. Like,
okay,
it's totally different. Where okay. All right, we can kick it off whenever. You can. Do you want to introduce? Maybe start off by saying like all right.
Okay. So we're gonna now move from our interview with Un Cho, our excellent interview. That was pretty awesome, Austin. I'd say like I was expecting some good insight. I don't know if I was expecting him to be that insightful though. I was really, really impressed by the knowledge he was able to give for growing up being an excellent junior golfer.
Oh yeah, I mean we've been friends for a while, and so Un is sort of like this goofy kid. I didn't know that he thought so much about things. Right?
Yeah, me neither, dude. I was not really expecting that, for being totally honest. But he really gave some great insight. And me and you are good at golf, but I think is kind of on another level, right? Shooting under par in U.S. Open local qualifiers as a high schooler is unbelievable.
Yeah. He said in the interview like nothing that impressive, just like 1 or 2 under. It's like that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So I think now we should move on to the Waste Management. We're going to talk about this tournament that's going to be this week in golf in Austin. I'd say that the Waste Management, people always say 16, it's like nothing in golf, but it really is. It's really like nothing in golf,
Yeah, man. I think it's awesome. Like, where else do you get the permission to just yell? Like, people are yelling while you're hitting. Like, it's rowdy. It's loud. Like, not like what we saw with Tiger at the Farmers. Man, that was terrible when the fan just yelled in the backswing of his putt. Like, so terrible.
Yeah.
But you get that here, and like it looks like a stadium. It's like a different kind of sport, and I think that the players really like it too. I think it's amazing. It's great, and honestly, this isn't that great of a tournament, and so the 16th is like one of the only reasons that I watch. Yeah.
But all the big players play in it, right? So it's not that bad, It becomes this cool spectacle, and you get a great field. So I feel like there's no reason to really complain about it. It's great.
Definitely.
So you want to talk to us about who you have for your sleeper and your winner, and what you think about this tournament? What do you think the composition of it's going to be?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned last week that there was a simulator that had been simulating golf tournaments,
and they got Alex Noren, right? That was crazy.
I told you, yeah. The pick that they picked was Alex Noren, and obviously he was right there. Had the win, like so close, right? Couldn't come any closer. And so this week, their prediction for the week is Charley Hoffman, and I actually really like this pick.
I do too. We've talked about him before. He is one of the most criminally underrated golfers on tour. He led the tour in birdies last year. I don't think anyone would expect that.
Right. No one would guess that. And he has a history of playing well at the Waste Management. He likes the golf course. He likes this style of golf. He's one of the ones that
born in Vegas.
Right. One of the guys who
lives in Vegas. But yeah.
Yeah. Like thrives with the going low theme, makes a ton of birdies, and this is a course where you absolutely have to go low to win.
Mm-hmm.
And his odds started off the week at plus 7,000, and now they're up to plus 5,500, which for all of you non-betting nerds out there, that is a massive jump for
That's
golf.
Unbelievable. That must mean a lot of people are hopping on the Charley Hoffman train.
Right, and I think that if he can just manage to put himself in position on Sunday, he's gonna see himself winning this tournament.
I agree. I think that he definitely will have some sort of chance to win the tournament if he just plays his normal style of golf, makes a ton of birdies.
Yeah. What about you?
So, okay, I'm going to go for my pick, a little less, not controversial, but, just pretty straightforward. I'm going to go with Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler was, I believe, pretty close to winning this tournament a couple years ago, right, or last year, but he ended up putting it in the water on 17. Ended up losing in the playoff to Matsuyama. But he plays well at this golf course. He has a history, and I think now that he knows, don't put it in the water on 17. And he didn't even a bad shot. He did it over the green, right? I mean, kind of unfortunate. I think that he plays well, plays his game. I think that Ricky has a good chance to win. Sleeper, I'm going to go with Danny Lee. Danny Lee's a bit under the radar. He has a good swing. He's kind of a character. If you've ever watched some videos about him, he's a pretty interesting guy. But he has the capability of going pretty low. So if he can find the swing together, I'd say look for Danny Lee to maybe be there on the weekend.
One of the best ball strikers on tour, just can't putt, right? And so we'll see if he can put that together this week. But I definitely like that pick. I actually like Danny Lee a lot. I think he has an unbelievable golf swing. Fundamentally, like if you watch it in slow-mo, that thing is unbelievable. And he just can't putt. And it's funny that for some guys, that's it, right? Like,
at the end of the day. Same thing with Adam Scott, really, after they banned the anchored putter.
Right, definitely. But yeah, it should be an exciting tournament. This tournament is a lot of fun, so I'm definitely excited to watch.
Yeah. Okay. I think that was. We have that much more. Just kind of we're going to do a brief waste management thing. Austin, you have anything else?
That's it. That's going to do it for the second episode of the What's in the Bag podcast. Again, guys, follow us on Twitter at What's in the Bag 18. We'll be giving you updates, and we'll let you know who our guest for next week is going to be.
Yep. I hope you enjoyed our interview and our talk about the waste management and farmers insurance. And we'll see you all next week.